Okay, so now that we've textured up our model, it's time to actually export out these textures. So we'll go to File, Export Textures. I'm going to export all three of these with 2K textures for the moment. I'll export out all these layers. By default, it's going to give me all these layers anyway. Just need to find somewhere to save it, so let's click here, go to our folder, let's go to Project 3. New folder, let's go with barrel textures. Might as well create a new folder for that. Select here, and then we'll just export. Now, one thing I do want to make sure is I want to be on PNG. Let's go with 16-bit for this, especially since we'll be doing height maps and normal maps. So that should be pretty good. So let's just click export. And this will just take a little while to run through. Okay, so that's all textured, and here we have our final maps. Let's just click on this and we can go through them. So the way that textures are kind of baked out, as you see this stretching from the edge of any texture area off into infinity, and it's can be a little bit off-putting because it makes you think you've maybe done something wrong, but that's what they always look like, so you don't have to worry about that. So we have all our textures. They seem to have all came out pretty nicely. Now, one thing I'll say is we do have some extra masks. We have normal and height, which is not necessarily, they're not necessarily both needed, but it's good to have them both anyway. Let's go over back to Blender. I'm going to save this file first. Let's go over to Blender. Let's bring in our node editor. And at the moment we're on barrel wood. Let's just change our diffuse texture over to Principled Shader. And then let's grab our folder over into our folder. So now we have them all. And it's just a case of building these up. So let's just isolate for the moment our barrel texture. So here we go, that's isolated now. And let's just plug in all these textures. Roughness, which we want to make non-color data, and then we'll just plug this into roughness. This is metallic, again non-color data, and plug this into metallic. So the way the normal map works is, and we've seen this again a few times, we've got a bump map and we need a normal map. We'll plug the normal into the color slot, and that gives us a normal map out, which we can plug into normal and then plug into this normal. So with this normal applied, we get, well, something that looks a little bit strange. Straight off the bat, let's plug this height into height. And let's cut off this normal. And let's just use the height map to generate our normal map. We'll let Blender work out the normal map. That way we won't have any issues with OpenGL or anything. Height map is always black for low, white for high. So let's go with that for the moment, and I think that's pretty much that texture completed. Let's select the next one, and I'll just make up these textures and I'll speed up this part of the video. Okay, so that's all the textures built up, and we now have our high poly model with our high poly textures on it, and I think it actually looks pretty good. It's rendering pretty fast for a high poly model. Even at 32 samples, the texture actually looks really good as well, which is a great sign, and I'm pretty happy with that. So now it's just time to basically transfer all these details onto this low poly version, and we'll tackle that in the next video.